Hi everyone, I'm Ty, and today I'm talking about Abington School District versus Schempp, the 1963 Supreme Court case that still shapes how public schools handle religion. My goal is to walk through the history, the ruling, and most importantly, what this case means for educational leaders today. Before the case reached the Supreme Court, challenges to mandatory Bible readings actually began as early as 1958, when families first raised concerns in Pennsylvania courts. At that time, many states required public schools to start the day with Bible readings and the Lord's Prayer. These practices were treated as tradition, something schools had always done. But as communities became more religiously diverse, families began questioning whether these devotional routines belonged in public schools. The Schempp family, who were Unitarian, argued that their children were forced into a religious exercise or singled out if they opted out. That tension is what pushed the case forward, eventually reaching the Supreme Court in 1963. The Supreme Court ruled 8-1 that mandatory Bible readings violated the Establishment Clause. They used what's known as the purpose and effect test. If the purpose of a school practice is religious, it's unconstitutional. If the primary effect is to advance or inhibit religion, it's unconstitutional. The court also made something very clear. Schools can teach about religion academically, in history, literature, or culture, but they cannot sponsor religious activity or advance a particular faith. This case isn't just history, it's a guide for how we lead schools today. As educational leaders, we must maintain religious neutrality, train staff on the difference between teaching about religion and practicing religion, review curriculum, announcements, assemblies, and traditions for compliance, protect student religious expression without crossing into endorsement, and prevent coercion, even subtle or unintentional. Neutrality isn't about removing religion, it's about ensuring the school doesn't take sides. Let me give a real world example that shows how easily schools can cross the line. At one former school, staff held a prayer circle on Monday mornings after students had already arrived and announced it over the PA system. In another situation, a grade level meeting ended with a group prayer while students were still in the room. Students could leave, but most didn't. Peer pressure kept them there. This is exactly the kind of coercive environment the court warned about. Cases like Lee v. Wiseman and Santa Fe v. Doe make it clear that coercion doesn't have to be explicit. Social pressure is enough. Today, Abington's principals show up in all kinds of modern challenges. Holiday parties and decorations, teachers worry about being exclusionary or unintentionally privileging one tradition. Graduation ceremonies, avoiding school-endorsed prayer. Curriculum debates, keeping instruction secular and academically grounded. Social media, staff posting religious content on school platforms. Student speech, protecting expression without crossing into endorsement. Digital learning spaces, ensuring neutrality in online classrooms. The landscape keeps evolving, but the core principle stays the same. Schools must avoid endorsing religion while protecting individual rights. So, what does that mean for us? Provide clear staff training on religious neutrality. Review traditions, announcements, and events for compliance. Create policies that protect student expression without school involvement. Address situations where staff unintentionally create coercive environments. Communicate openly with families about constitutional boundaries. Our job is to create a school environment where every student, regardless of faith or no faith, feels respected and safe. Abington v. Schempp isn't just a 1963 case. It's a living guide for how we lead schools today. When we understand neutrality, avoid coercion, and protect student rights, we uphold both the Constitution and the trust families place in us. Thank you for listening.